We thought we'd make a quick video today comparing the noise levels and airflow volumes of our AC motors, which you can see one on the left, and our more expensive EC motors, which you can see one on the right. We've never really published the decibel levels of our fans because we think they're very misleading. There's a couple of very well-known products out there that publish very misleading decibel levels, but far more important than the decibel levels is actually the pitch that a fan makes. So we actually think our AC motor is one of the quietest motors on the market. It doesn't have a particularly prominent motor whine when it's running, whereas mixed flow fans have quite a whining sound that comes from the motor. So once they're actually installed, they don't really make a lot of noise that penetrates through building materials. That said, the EC motor is actually significantly quieter again. So when noise is by far the most important consideration, or lack of noise, the EC motor is always the best choice. So when we start these fans up side by side now, you'll actually see that the EC motor sounds like it's making considerably more noise than the AC motor. And that's because there's almost twice as much airflow running through the EC motor than the AC motor. But you should also notice that there's no motor noise coming from the EC motor. So even if you were to leave the EC motor running at full speed, by the time you actually install an EC motor, it makes less noise than the AC motor because you don't have that motor sound running through the building, and most of the airflow noise gets dampened down by the ducting that the air's running through it. However, the big advantage of an EC motor is that for every 20% you slow the motor down, you cut the power consumption and the noise by roughly half. So by the time you're running the fan at about 40% speed, you get a very efficient fan and it's basically silent. So we're going to plug our fans in today one at a time to show you what they both sound like at full speed, as well as doing the airflow testing on them. And then we're going to reduce the EC motor down a couple of increments just to show you what it sounds like and how much air it still produces. So firstly, we're going to plug in the AC motor so that you can hear it. So that's the AC motor running at full speed now, and we're just going to put the airflow hood in front of the fan so that you can see what it does. So we'll just show you how we're doing that. And so you can see, even running through a 100mm diameter volume hood, it's hovering around 525, 530 cubic meters an hour. So we're just going to unplug that fan now. So that's the AC motor. Now we're plugging in the EC motor. So at first instance, it'll sound quite a lot louder, and that's only because there's so much more air going through it. So that's the EC motor running at 100% speed. So when you plug them in side by side like this, it actually sounds a lot louder. But even if you took both of these fans and installed them with ducting, the EC motor is a lot quieter once it's actually installed. But we're just going to put the volume hood on it quickly to show you what sort of airflow it's doing. So you can see there that it's hovering at around 700 cubic meters. Now, if we just wind the dial down on the side to about halfway, so there it's running at about 50% speed currently. You can only just hear it when you're standing next to it. It'll be a lot quieter again installed, but we're just going to put the volume hood on that and see what sort of airflow we're getting out of it. So you can see even there it's still producing around about 300 cubic meters of airflow. But if we go even another 20% to say roughly 40% speed, so now the fan is pretty much silent. we're still getting 200 cubic meters of airflow. So that's how we tend to install our fans in a subfloor when noise is the most important consideration. So running like this, the fan's gone from the AC motor uses about 52 watts, whereas the EC motor at full speed uses 82 watts. Reducing it like this, it's now using between 8 and 10 watts, so very, very little power consumption, but it's still producing 200 cubic meters of airflow. So what we tend to do on a subfloor when noise is the most important consideration is significantly reduce the speed, which also significantly reduces the power consumption and the noise, but then we can run the fan for a longer duration just to make up for the marginally lower airflow. So now that the hood's been taken off, you can see that the fan is basically inaudible, but you're still getting a very well performing 200 cubic meters of airflow.